Elden Ring has some of the most diverse boss fights in the Soul series, even if some of them are used a bit too many times. So today I'm ranking the remembrance bosses from easiest to hardest, starting with Regal Ancestral Spirit is a very cool looking fight, but it being locked behind Radahn, who is, well, Radahn, sadly makes this fight a bit too easy. He doesn't have much health, nor does he do much damage, but he can use a spirit heal to regain more than half of his health at least twice per fight. He's also very acrobatic and can do tricks like jumping on his hind legs and barrel rolling across the entire arena, but they belong in a circus, not an octagon. His spirit fire is also good at hindering the player, but it's far from being deadly, but it does make a nice sound that I enjoy. Renala starts off with a gimmick fight that's hard for feminists and easy for misogynists, as you just need to beat up some disabled women. This phase is very easy, as this is my specialty. Her second phase is a lot harder, as you need to avoid magic being spammed at you every 3 seconds. Oh, and she can summon trolls and dragons to try to kill you. She's fairly squishy though, and I don't mean her cheeks, she barely has any health. Morgott happens to be the third time we fight this dude, so if you don't know his moves at this point, you might want to see a neurologist. But in all honesty though, he does have a lot of new moves to throw you off, but none of them are super hard to dodge and they don't really do much damage. He's a lot more aggressive than Morgott though, and he has some insane combos, but not a lot of health and not much damage, can only get you so far as a boss. Estelle really shouldn't be this high up, but he has this one little move that just about drove me insane, where he teleports, which screws your camera, and then he grabs you from behind, puts you in his mouth, chomps on you, and then slams you into the ground. Even if I was max health when he grabbed me, I'd still die. Other than that, he attacks so infrequently and doesn't do enough damage to kill you. This fight is easy as long as you don't run out of healing. Like, I only ever died to the grab, which had a little delay too, so I only ever managed to dodge it like 3 times. Godric is someone I expected to have right at the bottom of the list, as I never had any trouble with him before this playthrough, but similar to Estelle, I had this one attack that happened to be a delayed grab, and guess what? Always one-shot me, so I think I just didn't put nearly enough levels into the vigor of this playthrough. His fire breath attacks can also be troublesome as they last for what feels like forever. He did also have quite a lot of health for how early he is, and he had one combo that was fairly troublesome where he like swang his axe around everywhere and it was stupid. Fire Giant. I might have died 0 times still in this playthrough, but that's not enough for me to forget what experiences it gave me in the past, so I'll put him right here, which is honestly a lot lower than I would have expected before replaying the game. He does have a lot of health and does insane damage, but his moves just felt really easy for me to dodge. You know those times when there's a really annoying fly that keeps bugging you, but you can never hit it because it's so small and fast and you're so big and slow? That's probably how Fire Giant feels when fighting us. He does have that annoying fire magic that's the equivalent of us humans using an electric zapper, because it does a lot of damage and feels very cheap. Starscourge Radahn and Letter the Destroyer are some of the hard. Radahn is a beast, quite literally. His combos are ferocious and relentless, and his health is outrageous, with his damage being ginormous. He was killing me in 2 hits with every attack, so I actually had to go farm levels for him, which I don't think I've had to do in any other game. When he pulls out his grouty attacks, that's when you know you're in real trouble, as he pulls you towards him and explodes on you, or launches meteors at you. He can even become a meteor himself, or a torpedo. He can be made the easiest boss in the game, or even franchise, if you just summon all the NPCs, which you can do over and over again, but that's no fun. Mohg might share a body with one of the hardest bosses of all time, but he really isn't super hard in this real fight. His blood flames deal a decent amount of damage and hinder the player from moving too much, while also inflicting blood loss, so they are quite troublesome, but there's this one attack that is quite literally impossible to dodge. You might have heard the phrase, "Nihil," which deals a lot of damage unless you have this drink that's been spiked with anti-nihil juice, and you can just get free damage on the guy. But now you're in phase 2 where he starts flying around and becomes a lot more aggressive, and on the attempt I killed him, I got him to about a 6th of his health, which is not a lot, with 11 flasks remaining, which is a lot, and when I finally killed him, I was down to 1 flask, which is not a lot. That's how relentless he is, or more likely, I just turned into a brainless monkey. Godfrey is one aggressive dude with ground stomps that leave you with holes bigger than and his axe gives you pivots the size of a, axe. This dude also has some wild combos and can even explode the entire ground. I don't know how this doesn't completely destroy the arena, but video games, yeah. Now when you get to phase 2, he lets out his inner lion and becomes an MMA fighter that could probably bite off Mike Tyson's ear. He can launch you into the air and slam you into the ground harder than your mom when she fell into hell. Now his ground explosions are even bigger and his combos even harder to dodge. Radagon starts off as a very fun and fair fight. He doesn't have any bullshit attacks, but he has a lot of area of effect attacks that sometimes seem unfair, but they really aren't. He can pin you down and bash your skull in, but you probably won't die from it. His teleportation can be a bit sketchy, since he can use it both to avoid your attacks and to surprise you when he doubles down on it. And he has Nameless King's Lightning, so he's automatically cool. Elden Beast, on the other hand, constantly runs away, launches magic that's hard to dodge, shoots beams out of his sword that are so fast you can barely evade them. But since they let you use torrents in the fight now, it's become a lot more fun, so I let her have that. Fortisax embodies what I dislike in boss fights. There's constantly a lightning being charged at you that can explode at random times. Most of his attacks have big AoE after effects. You can't really hit its head, and they can cover the arena in Deathblight. That being said, he does look cool, and he has some cool fun attacks like that one lightning sword spin, but those were rare. But it can always get worse, right? Placidusax is Fortisax, but worse. You yet again constantly have lightning on you, and AoE attacks everywhere, but Placidusax has mid-tiers, a laser beam attack, which might look cool, but it's not fun to dodge at all, and can also one-shot you. He can teleport and become invisible, screwing up the camera, and his wing swipe has the wonkiest hitbox I've seen in a dragon fight, and he does a lot more fire breath attacks, which I never really found fun, and he somehow has more health than Fortisax, who already had a lot. Beast Clergyman starts off fairly aggressive and likes throwing rocks, which do more damage than the Lee without training weights. His second phase, Maliketh, is probably the fastest and most aggressive boss in the base game. He can launch attacks towards you that cut off your max health and drain a lot of health too. He can also make these wind slashes that have huge range and do a ton of damage. The only reason he isn't number 2 is because he only has one health bar, which doesn't have too much health, so he does die fairly quickly, but man is he a fun boss. Rykard, I did not expect to put this high up, but man did I struggle with him. Even in phase 1 he has a lot of attacks that are very troublesome, like his ground explosion that can do 90% of your health, and his stupid jump attack that I could never get the timing of. Especially when he did the third one, which had a small delay that always screwed me over, and it counted to probably like 90% of my deaths. Now in phase 2, this isn't even a fight anymore, you're a mouse in a snake's realm. He can shoot probably over 50 skulls at you that all explode, and I still do not understand who at FromSoft thought this would be a fair or even fun attack to dodge, especially since the snake can keep attacking while doing this, so now I need to deal with a triple chomp on top of 50 exploding skulls, so yeah, fire whoever the food. And finally, I don't think any of us are surprised, number 1 we have Malenia. Now her first phase is fairly fair, as she's pretty respectful and lets you heal after most attacks, and the waterfall is scripted at around 65% HP, so you can know when to run, but you do need to learn how to dodge it, which I never would have learned if it weren't for my friend, and if she does it when you're too close to her, you're pretty much just dead. Now phase 2 always starts off with that flower explosion thingy, which isn't too hard to dodge, and you can take advantage of her when she's stuck, while it sounds bad, in the middle of the explosion. However, it is risky as you take damage and can get Scarlet Rot, which is not ideal. And in this phase she's a lot more aggressive, making it really hard to heal, but she's fairly stunnable, which I did not take enough advantage of during my attempts. And in this phase she gains another move that's insanely hard to dodge, which is the clone launch thingy, which if you mess up dodging can easily one-shot you, and learning it is also very hard, but not as bad as Waterfall. Oh, and she also heals every time she hits you, but that's not too bad in my opinion, even though it can ruin runs. Thanks for watching everyone, Shadow Territory soon, and after that I start making the videos that I originally wanted to make when I made this channel, so I'm excited.